Welcome to the Glen and Dean Show. I'm Dean Zarbaugh.
I'm Glen Longwell.
And it's just going to be us. We're going to just chill.
Doing a throwback episode.
We've got some interesting news. It seems there has been a mass emigration from Cleveland in recent weeks. Jeremy Shear has left.
Yeah, which
Ray
I didn't even know that Jeremy was leaving until he said he was gone. Yeah. So we didn't get our fourth goodbye episode.
No, but what was weird is we have the honor of having had one of the last Sad Boy shows.
That's true. Yeah.
At least for now. I'm assuming they're going to continue. I know they did an album.
Yeah.
But Jasmine Carter went to L.A.
Did she?
And now our own Glen Longwell's leaving.
I will be moving to the city that Disney built.
Literally.
Yeah. Which is funny because I just wrote like a 4-minute Disney bit that I think if I work it out, I could probably expand it to like 10.
Nice.
But, because Kaylee's always yelling at me about watching grown-up shit with Killian. Like, I watched the new Jim Jeffries special. And whenever Jim Jeffries drops...
absorbing it yet.
Well, whenever Jim Jeffries drops a new special, I go back and watch all of them in chronological order. At least all the ones I can get to watch, because some of them are harder because they're from UK. And she's like, if his first words are fuck, we are going to have some serious problems.
Yeah, that's one of the lighter ones. That he could drop if watching the Jim Jeffries special. But when are you leaving?
We're actually leaving on the 28th, the early
so
morning. So next Saturday. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's
are you driving down, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're gonna rent a truck to move the stuff of ours that we haven't sold. Mm-hmm. And we're driving down there and going to set up shop by the beginning of August. And, see what happens.
Are you going to be in?
I don't know, honestly. It's in some rich neighborhood.
We're
moving in with her dad to start.
Dr. Phillips?
I don't think so, no.
Well, that's one of the ones that I know. They're like right.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not that. I don't remember. She might know off the top of her head, but I haven't really. To me, it's just Orlando at this point.
I miss Orlando, though, dude. I think, legitimately, you're gonna have a new opinion of the city after you spend some time there. By the time I left college, but I also have a lot of family that lives down there.
Sure.
That I connect with, and a lot of friends from college and stuff like that. But there is just something really nice, and it's not Disney, and I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the stuff around it. There is a lot of great stuff to do around there that it goes overlooked because Disney's there.
Well, and you're living in Florida, one of the bigger cities in Florida, but there's no beach. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get
not too far though, an hour drive.
Yeah. I'm trying to get excited about it. It's just, I don't like the heat.
Yeah.
So that'll be an adjustment.
I used to drive out to Cocoa a lot.
But like her and I are talking, who knows, maybe by the time that we have our money where it needs to be, because she's going to be getting a nice bump in pay, and then I've got a job lined up for me when I get down there. I just have to pass a drug test. Yeah. So that'll be a fun little challenge. But no, it's...
You're going to pass with flying colors.
Obviously, because I've never done anything illegal in my life. But no.
When's that interview so we can post this after?
Right. What? No, there's no podcast with my name on it, sir. Trust me. No, I've got an in. So really, I think all I have to do is pass the drug test, and I mean, we can set it up for after we get there so that I can pass it.
Right.
So it won't be a big deal, I don't think. Because I haven't smoked weed in now like 3 weeks, so that's good. It is what it is. But Our dream or our goal, at least at this point in conversation, is to be able to move to the state of Washington.
Oh, nice.
Or Oregon, but preferably Washington, because it's the climate that we both like. And right now, Killian's... A lot
of good hops coming out of there.
And Killian's 5 months old. Yeah. We don't have to worry about moving him and ripping him apart from his schools or anything. It's going to suck leaving all of our friends and family behind, because we do have a life here. But... for work down there, it won't be a big deal. I'll have a job at a very big chain.
Yeah.
And if I can hurry up and get my associate's degree and get into management at this company, then I'll basically be hireable in that field anywhere, especially just with my fucking resume. And it's a bigger city, so for comedy, I think it'll open up some doors, I'm hoping. And writing-wise, it might, this new job with its consistency might finally allow me to get back into my old writing habits, because now when I write, it's like, I was able to squeeze in 6 hours because my job is so all over the place.
You can get that much time in?
If I'm lucky. But it's like 6 hours like a month.
Okay, I thought you were talking about a day.
In that one day, I'll crank out 6 hours worth, but then I won't get another opportunity for 3 or 4 weeks.
Because I squeeze out maybe, I'll work for a while, but it'll only be like a half a page.
Yeah.
But mine's all dialogue, basically. And
well, the book that I'm writing now, it's actually a stray away from my trilogy, the Dead Letters trilogy, which is, I'm almost done with the second book. I just need to pretty much write the last 2 chapters, go back and edit it, and I can do that. I've been, I got hit with inspiration with this other project that I'm working on, which is,
as it happens,
the working title is IRL, because the main character kind of realizes that, demons and vampires and angels and all of that stuff and pagan gods are real. So, it's in real life, IRL, working title. And to do a quick, brief, description for anybody, it would be like Supernatural and Grimm kind of having a baby, but with, instead of a brother team, it's an immortal person who just frankly is out of fucks to give, and a 21-year-old seer, as he's called, which means that he can see if you're a vampire.
Okay.
And they are working to stop they're trying to solve and then stop an angelic plot to enslave humanity and essentially begin the apocalypse, which would be Michael versus Lucifer. But I'm enjoying it because I get to write a lot of dialogue similar to what we had in Slacker House 5.
Oh, nice.
Obviously completely different setup, but there's a part where they're loading up the car to go down to Columbus. And since I'm writing it from Avon Lake, Cleveland, Columbus right now, and they will travel throughout the world, but I can do streets and things that I know really well. But they're loading up the car, and Jason, who's the immortal, has a bunch of garlic, and he throws it in there. And Kieran, the main character, he goes, "Oh, so garlic will hurt the vampire." And Jason's just like, "No, I just enjoy it when I cook spaghetti. Sorry for trying to make your evening better." And, things like that, which in a sitcom might be a little hacky, but in a book, it's funny.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying that. So I'm hoping that with that and then comedy and the fact that I have a pen name, technically, I can still do both separately, because I love doing comedy, but I don't. If Kaylee and I are going to start a family, like we already have, but there's talks of a second kid. If I feel like if I put the work in comedy, I can still get to where it is making me an income.
Yeah.
But I'm a little apprehensive right now to do the Ron White 160 cities a year work ethic because of the family.
Right.
So I would prefer to be able to be kind of like a comic that's statewide or regionally successful, that makes a little bit of money from that, but is able to do sell a couple books here and there and has a deal. That would be ideal for me. But I have a plan C, which is grocery store with an associate's degree.
There you go.
So
I'm working on that one myself.
hey, the important thing, though, for you is that you found it has opened up something for you that you never knew you loved.
Yeah.
So even though work is still work, you get to play with something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I do. Beer's fun.
So there's that.
Yeah. But I would like to make some money at podcasting.
As would I.
That would be nice. That'd be a nice. That's kind of where I'm kind of working towards right now.
Yeah, I'm not ready to let that dream die. I think the tap room is a good format, and you just got to put in your 10,000 hours, man.
Yeah, it's been challenging to do some of the stuff like my weekly roundup episode that I release on Friday.
Yeah.
Like I literally go through 184 different brewery Facebook pages and look at events on every single one of them and find the ones that are like community oriented or, you know, something to get out a good cause, the word out about a good cause and stuff. You know, music acts and stuff are cool and everything, but they've already got the musician promoting it and stuff like that. You know, to do like there's a lot of them are for like dogs and to like help, you know, abandoned dogs and stuff like that. And so, but I have to go through 184 fucking pages every fucking week for a 5-minute episode.
Yeah, for a segment.
And it's like, it takes up a lot of fucking time. It's stressful, but I really want to fucking make some money doing this, man.
Right.
It's,
I mean, you know, there's nothing says you can't. You just got to keep plugging
Uber
away.
To sponsor me.
That'd be actually a very Uber or Lyft would be a good fit.
Like promote, like, hey, you're going to go to this brewery, Uber.
Right.
Like, don't drink and drive. I think that's a great pitch.
I think the only thing that
I gave away my fucking thing. I don't care.
Well, if you steal that, we'll find you.
I know.
The biggest
you are by your IP address.
The biggest problem I feel like with making money from podcasting is, you know, in history podcasts, those people make a living.
Yeah.
And they start off as nobodies for the most part. You know, you have Mike Duncan made a name through the history of Rome.
Right.
Dan Carlin was pretty successful before that. And Dan Carlin's actually a fascinating guy. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Nice.
But for the most part, the podcasts that make money, like, you know, have made Mark Maron and Joe Rogan wealthy or successful, those guys already had name recognition. Right. And, you know, that's not something that you can compensate for, you know. Right. So nobody knows who Dean Zarbaugh is. So then you want to try to appeal to them through the beer. And unfortunately, while we do have some great beer in Ohio, it's a very small niche of people that you can reach to. So, you know, until you're able to, you know, go on like a country tour, like maybe take like a month off of work, which we already know how well that would go over.
Right.
But, you know, unless you could do like a cross-country beer tour for the show.
Which is eventually what I want to do.
Yeah, and that would be great because that would...
I have an idea I'm going to talk to you about off the air because it's a legit... Like,
something like that could open the markets.
Adapt it as a TV show.
And, see, that could be cool. And, you know, like if you did a Stone, which they have a brewery in both California and in Richmond, you know, that's a nationally distributed beer. And, something like that would grab a lot of attention.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'm just... I don't know. I'm thinking, like, everybody says that when you don't do comedy for a while, because, you know, when I lost my job almost 2 years ago now, I got very depressed, and it was just very hard for me to go out and want to be funny.
Yeah.
They say that when you do that, like, you lose a step.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's
I feel
one of the
like
hardest things to get back into.
That I agree. It's been very hard for me to get back into the swing of going to open mics, though I've been doing a little bit here and there lately because I want to go down to Orlando hot.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I missed a step. Like, I feel like my ability to write jokes, the only thing that's hurt is that I don't sit down and write jokes like I used to, because if I have time to sit down and write, I'm working on my novel. But, like, when I think of jokes, I don't just think of premises anymore. Like, I'm able to think of a whole bit in the shower. Like, I have a gun control bit that I have to work out on stage. Like, I'm not saying it's completed, but I have, you know, some ideas and the premise and what I want to do with it and where I want to go with it and some tags already worked out just from taking a 10-minute shower.
Yeah.
And that's only because, one, I mean, that's how my mind works as a writer, is long form to begin with. And I've done it enough to where I know, like, kind of what works and what doesn't and how to deliver those things.
Yeah.
And, like, when I did my Disney bit, if I stop now, it's a 2-3 minute bit, and that's still, as a comedian, you say, well, that's my work for the week.
Right.
You know, and it worked. And I thought of it one day. I went to Steve's open mic at TikTok. I hammered it out on the first go and nailed it.
Nice.
And, you know, and I'm not trying to brag, but it's just like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I clearly...
Well, it just felt nice.
It does feel nice to be able to nail a bit the first time and know that you don't have to. Same with St. Ginford, that bit. You helped me work that out, so don't ever think that that's been forgotten. But between you and I, we figured it out, we wrote it out, we nailed it, and I've been telling that same bit for 2 years, 3 years almost, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, it still works.
See, and it's funny because, like, since I stopped doing it really altogether a few years ago,
right?
Back, 2014, I think is when I actually stopped, like, for a long time, and I was doing consistent work for like 3-4 years before that.
Right.
That was. It's still one of the harder. I still can't write a joke very well anymore. I can't. It's just really hard for me to sit down and think the structure of a joke. Mm-hmm. And I've almost kind of accepted the fact that I'm a bit like Conan O'Brien in that I don't compare myself to him at any level, really. But he doesn't like to write jokes. He doesn't like written jokes.
Yeah.
He likes just being funny in the moment and finds that that's his, that's where he does his best, is kind of just off the cuff and stuff like that. And so I kind of found that that's kind of where my home is like, I can't sit there and write a joke. I know what a good joke is.
Right.
And I will eventually be able to probably sit down and do set up punchline shit again.
Sure.
But I'm kind of just trying to find the ability to be comfortable just being like more off the cuff and conversational funny. Conan always finds himself being like making himself the idiot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of always how I've been, but I've always felt like at the end I'm like, do they hate me? Do they actually think I'm an idiot or am I annoying?
Right.
So like there's this like weird thing in my mind is like I like making myself the idiot.
Right.
I know I'm not that dumb.
But comedically
like,
it's better because somebody has to be the idiot for the joke.
But I'm worried that there's people that are like, this is a fucking idiot. He's just he's just like that joke. Like someone the other day, like the guy fucked up an order, brought in just a shitload of yogurt that isn't on sale. And it's that Faye yogurt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, that guy must love Faye. And I just launched into this whole thing where I was like, yeah, he probably takes a bath in it and then lets his dog lick it off him. Yeah, it was just totally gross. But that's what I was going for. I was purposely trying to be just take it in just a weird fucking direction. But then everybody just like literally stopped what they were doing. It's like, why the fuck do you have to make it weird? And I was like, that's what I do.
That's where we went with it.
And I marched out to the cooler. Just like, that's what I do. But then I immediately walked out of the cooler and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, they hate me.
The only reason that
this is why I'm not invited to parties.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me worry about stuff like that is because when I was about to be promoted at that same company, I made a quick joke and then I got yelled at for it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we got the guy that was going away, we got him a cake. And then one guy that worked there who always pretended to be my friend and then would go and complain about me. He's like, oh, if you see a face print in it, you know it was me. And then I was just like, forget that. If you see a dick print in it, you know it was me. And I thought it was funny. And everybody laughed. And then I get, from my boss, I heard you said you were going to put a certain body part in Justin's cake. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Like, that's bullshit. So,
that's not what I said.
Yeah, like it was a joke, but how are you supposed to be like, well, hear me out.
It's a bit.
Hear me out, boss. It was a dick joke.
Yeah.
They are old as time itself.
Yeah.
But no, what I was going to say, I think for you, almost LA kind of ruined you as a comedian because
it was a terrible place to start.
Well, not just that.
It was a great place to start, to be honest.
Well,
the people and stuff.
People that start in other countries tell you that actually America in general is a shitty place to start as a comedian because there's no money. And in other places, there's money even if you suck.
Right.
So you get to at least make something while you're getting better. But no, because you can't. When you were helping me out with the craft, because that was the one thing that I wasn't sure of how to do because I hadn't been on stage enough to really know like how it was going to work. But you were, you want to do a joke like this, and it was set up punchline, and it took me a little bit, but it was like, well, that's not how I work. I'm a long form guy. I'm a storyteller, and I kind of knew that going in, but I didn't know how it was going to work, and I needed that first 6 months of really only getting a couple laughs here and there, but enough to keep me going until I finally got it, and I was just like, I can do this.
Yeah, and set up punchline is nice just because it gets you comfortable with some format. Yeah. And then once you're comfortable with the format, you can fucking do whatever you want with it.
But you are not like that isn't you. You're not a setup punchline guy. I know that's how you've trained yourself to write jokes, but you are a writer. Yeah. You write stories. You are a storyteller. So I'm not saying that you can't. But I'm not saying. Well, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you can't do setup punchline. I'm saying that it goes against your grain, kind of. Like, I think if you had started somewhere where it was more encouraged to be long form storytelling, which is where the LA part hurts, because one, you don't get 6 minutes,
right? And
if you go over your 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, it's a problem.
Yeah.
In Cleveland, if you'll go over, you just get a second light. They're like, oh, maybe you didn't see this one. You know, it's not until you go way over that people start getting pissy, and I've never actually seen that happen.
Right.
But because of that, you know, it allows you to, one, learn how to work within a certain time frame, and two, how to tell a 3-minute story.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, that in LA, that's only given to people that, you know, are like able to come out and bump somebody from the Comedy Store.
Right. So. Which there was a lot.
Yeah, I've heard, you know, and that's one of
the worst things. One. And I love telling the story now because like his star's kind of fallen. TJ Miller dropped into a mic.
Okay.
And like literally like I had to follow TJ Miller.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the worst fucking experiences, but he was such a fucking douche about it.
Was he?
Not about my set or anything.
Yeah,
he didn't come up to me, he didn't fucking talk to
just
me at all.
About
bumping and stuff like that. He was such a fucking I'm TJ Miller. You're gonna fucking put me on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 10 minutes. And everybody else has 3.
Yeah.
And so you're already pissing off people within the room who are like, well, this dude's just eating time now.
Yeah.
He didn't even stay within the parameters of the mic. And I get working out some material and stuff, but he's such a fucking dick about it.
I don't like his comedy. I think he is funny, like as a comedic actor, but I'm not a huge absurdist or alt guy. And so when I saw his hour special, the one that supposedly blew him up to get all those acting gigs, I was just like, eh.
Yeah, and then he's said and done some really fucked up shit since then. So
yeah,
like, he called in a fake bomb threat on people, and like he's a fucking asshole.
Like Russell Brand is one of those guys where I know his star's kind of he's in the downside, but this is where he wants to be. Yeah. He was sick of it. But like he's a guy where I heard him on WTF, and I've heard others. I have grown. I always was kind of indifferent on his comedy. Like there was times where he was very funny.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I was just like, he's more of a thing. He's doing a thing.
Right.
But like everybody that talks about him, for the most part, has really nice things to say about him. And like when he was with Maron, like that's one of the few times where like Mark Maron on WTF was like making, like really getting into it with his guests, like joke wise, And so it was just like, he's got to be one of those guys that's like infectiously funny.
Right.
Because he does his thing, but he doesn't do it to like necessarily on stage. It comes off as he's doing a thing to show you that he's smarter than you. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that that's what he's trying to do. I think he's just, I'm doing a thing and you're with me, you know, because him and Maron got along great. So I grew to have actually a large amount of respect for him. And the same with the Dane Cook interview. I told you, I feel bad for the guy at this point.
Right.
Never thought he was a great comedian, but by the same token, you have to give him credit. He sold out Madison Square Garden twice.
Yeah.
Like, not many people can say they've done that.
Yeah.
But when he was on Maron, like he seemed like a really nice guy. He's not a deep guy. He doesn't talk about about getting molested as a kid or anything like that, because that's not how he wants to be funny, and there's no law or rule book that says this is
there's
how you're
clearly
supposed to
a
be.
Comedy police out there.
There are.
They have very clear ideas and strict ideas of what comedy is.
But those guys can eat a bag of dicks because there's no actual, if you can make something funny and gain an audience, then you've done it right, no matter what anybody says. So, and I was just kind of thinking, because, I went into comedy with the very, like, well, I'm not going to be this guy. But now, like, the more I do it and the more I kind of, like, learn about it as a craft and an art form, and the people that have been doing it for years and I've already established, it's like, these people that I maybe didn't respect do deserve my respect. I mean, I don't think Larry the Cable Guy is funny. But, again, he seems like a nice guy, and everybody has good things to say about him. He knows his audience. He's made money. He sells out huge arenas when he goes on tour. He can do something that I can't. So
he
who
lives
the hell
not
am
too
I?
far from where you're going to be.
Yay.
Sanford, Florida.
Interesting, yeah.
Home of Larry the Cable Guy.
I mean, even Ron White
you
had
know
nice
about the
things to
thing with
say
him and
about
David Cross and everything, right?
What?
Larry the Cable Guy and David Cross.
Man.
David Cross, like, fucking just, I hate using the word blasted him, but like, just went on a huge tirade because Larry the Cable Guy, the guy who is Larry the Cable Guy,
Dan Whitley or whatever,
very
Whitney.
smart guy.
Yeah,
like actually has like I don't think he has a master's, but he at least has, he's got a couple college degrees or whatever, or at least one college degree, and he's David Cross's big thing was that he's basically making fun of people to their face by also pretending to be one of them, and
right.
Like he had, like there was this big thing that he wrote this big long tirade about why Larry the Cable Guy is just shit.
Yeah.
It's worth a read at least. It's an interesting point of view. I'm not taking anything away from it. The guy's built a successful.
In my opinion, he is like Gallagher.
Yeah. In
that he, the people that he's most successful to, I don't actually think get the ultimate joke. Right. Like Gallagher will tell you the Sledge-O-Matic or whatever was supposed to be satire. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But nobody got the satire. They just wanted to get hit with the watermelon.
Yeah. People
don't necessarily get that Larry the Cable Guy is a satirical character. They just want to hear him tell fart jokes.
Right.
So, yeah,
he dumbs himself down. That was like the big thing that David Cross, he was like, he dumbs himself down.
But, again,
for no reason, really.
Yeah, and I get that.
But hey, the guy's made fucking millions.
But that kind of also strikes me as almost a little bit of jealousy.
I mean, 100%. Like, David Cross also has his own shit about, everything that happened with Arrested Development's thing with the New York Times interview and how disastrous that went.
Well,
and, trying to even openly stand up for Tambor while just ignoring the fact that Jessica Walter had been through something.
Right.
I've never heard stories in all.
I've been around. Realize that he was a monster.
I've heard stories that he's difficult to work with. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
And then the fact that she was crying on stage.
Right.
That's a level of not abuse, but of torture in a way that I've never really heard of. And I've been around entertainment stories since I was 9. I soak this shit up. This is I love hearing the nitty gritty of what's going on behind the scenes. That's always been.
You want to know how it works and all that.
I want to know how the sausage is made. And you always hear about people who are difficult and storm off set. There's but then you have people like David O. Russell who. You can go watch the video of when he with I Heart Huckabees, him and Lily Tomlin. He treated Lily Tomlin like fucking shit. He literally, I felt so bad for the continuity people because he went into the set and literally threw everything off the fucking table in a tirade.
Right,
all yelling at Lily Tomlin because she had the audacity to say something back to him. Or some shit. It was just but then this guy's getting Oscar nominations. People are fucking praising this guy now. And then you've got Tambor, who basically is doing the same thing. Not the sexual assault stuff from Transparent or whatever. That's its own thing and terrible. But I'm talking about people that are difficult to work with. There are some people who are some people who are slammed for it, and then there's people who are celebrated for it. And it's where are you fucking?
He doesn't even. It's not like it's an even. It doesn't seem to be an evenly split abuse. Because Jason Bateman and those guys didn't have. They spoke up when it came to them, but they didn't have personal stories.
They did, but the problem was they didn't speak up for her. They kept trying to defend him.
Well,
no, he's okay. He's just Jeffrey.
That's just him, yeah.
And stuff, and that's not cool. No. That's just not cool. I don't care what you say. That's
that whole thing.
That's a weird fucking place, and for that was so disastrous
because they
canceled
Jeffrey
the rest
Tambor.
of the thing. They canceled the rest of the fucking press tour,
and now we might not get another season of Arrested Development.
I mean, we might get another season of it. Whether his involvement is in it, that's we're going to get another half of this season still.
Though
we're still got another half of this season that's going to be released later this year. But you can still do a good Arrested Development without.
But I'm just
George.
saying he was a big part of the show.
For sure, but George is not the main part of the thing. He's the MacGuffin, if anything.
as long as you have Jason Bateman, you'll have a show because Bateman's phenomenal.
Bateman, Will Arnett. You've got Alia Shawkat, Jessica Walter. I mean, like she's my fucking favorite in that whole show.
It's Mallory Archer.
She's amazing, and you can easily center the shit around her, and it would be fucking hilarious. Because her stuff with Tobias is always my favorite. Is their interactions. You saw season 4, right?
Yeah, when it first aired.
The whole thing about his license plate.
I don't remember.
It was supposed to be a new start, but it spells anus tart.
Yeah.
And then he walks in and finds that that Lucille's going to be his patient at the prison, and she goes, "Oh, hello, anus tart." And Ron Howard goes, and she didn't even see the license plate. That is still like their whole. And in season 5, it actually got really good between the two of them.
Yeah.
In their sessions. It got really fucking good.
I need to rewatch that just because it's probably been about 7 years since I watched it. And then I watched the new season when it dropped.
Yeah, but my point being is all these moments, the best moments of the show, are the ones that people remember and are the funniest, are usually centered around Lucille.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, like, the touching is about the only thing that people really quote from George.
For me, the scene I knew I was going to watch the series was in, I think it was the first or the second episode, when Jason Bateman's talking to him, and he goes, "You put Mom in charge of the company?" And he goes, "Yeah, you can't arrest a husband and a wife for the same crime." I don't think that's true.
I have the worst attorney.
I have the worst fucking attorneys.
Yeah.
And like that, to me, it was just like that delivery was perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you can still
and
do
in the new
without.
season when he's playing his brother Oscar, and he's just like, "Oh God, I'm so happy to be out of that hot box." And then Jessica Walter slaps him. Like that was them together.
Yeah, but
I think they were good together, but obviously they weren't. So
right, not off screen.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But you excited about the Orlando? I mean, obviously there's some trepidation just from it's a big life change and stuff. But
right,
I don't know why I segued back into this, but
hey, I mean, it's the biggest thing going on in my life right now.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, I'm getting there. It's when I moved when I was 19. I wasn't nervous or scared, but now it's just
you're 19.
Right, but now it's like, I'm leaving everything, but I'm excited at the prospects. I'm just, I'm talking to her, and it's like, maybe we will fall in love with this in a year or two. But right now it's kind of an out of necessity thing, and but, there's going to be good things, and as long as living with her parents or dad isn't, for the first however long until we can get our shit together, isn't as terrible as it sounds in my head, it should be fine.
Yeah. I got a buddy of mine, my buddy Spencer, lives not too far outside of Orlando, and he's, as long as you don't mind conspiracy theories, like hardcore, like legit conspiracy
theories. Like how
Vegas
was probably done by the liberal media.
No, not that kind of, no. The liberal, conservative, it makes no difference. They're all kitty diddlers to him.
I love Facebook right now because it is the most schizophrenic form of social media. Because, you're friends with everybody on Facebook. So I've got, people like, Warnowski and other friends of mine that are, hate the new president, because he's a cunt.
Yeah.
And the fact that I actually have a joke that I'm kind of working on right now, but I don't, it's just a throwaway where it's like, when you have concentration camps with kids, but you have people saying, well, they're not technically when you have to pull out semantics to show that your guy isn't Hitler,
you have to pull out air quotes.
You can say that you've backed the wrong horse. Yeah. Like, just admit it.
Yeah.
But then, I've got other people out there that are like, the economy's stronger than it's ever been, thanks to President Trump. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, where you these are not facts. They can't be facts.
Just because you don't agree with them doesn't mean they're not a fact.
I need to see from a reliable source.
I've talked to people who've talked to me, and they're like, I don't like the guy, but I'm not going to lie, I'm living better under him. And now, whether or not that quality of life is because of things that are left over from Obama,
sure.
That I'm not saying it is.
It's not
or
even
isn't.
that. Let's say it is because of these tax cuts.
Yeah.
Now we need to look at the one thing that Republicans all seem to forget about: the future.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, those tax cuts.
Who cares about that?
Maybe,
we got shit happening in 2008.
Maybe those tax cuts are making you feel great and live better, but, like now your school has no more funding to hire good teachers.
Yeah. But what about what Clinton did 400 years ago?
Right, yeah.
I mean, and that happened.
Let's
we got to
get back,
focus on that.
Let's get back coal mining jobs. And you know what else another job we could use more of? Trapping.
Yeah.
And,
what about clean coal?
Though? Yeah. Well, you know what?
We take it out, we rub it.
Sure, yeah.
Throw it in a bucket.
Clean coal's great because it is the best mythology that stupid people have fallen for since Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah,
I went there.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't care. Go wherever you want. Like Orlando.
Well, I think we'll still be able to do a few episodes here and there. Yeah. I mean, we'll have Skype.
We'll
make it work.
Maybe have to go to like a monthly format or something.
Yeah, something like that.
12 episodes a year.
We paid for the year, so it'd be a shame to not use it.
Yeah, I mean, we at least have to go through April.
Right.
I think April 4th or something is our next pay period.
Yeah, just let me get set up.
Oh yeah,
maybe I mean I'm off all next week. Maybe we could crank one more out. I got a couple people that say they want to come on the show. We'll see.
Yeah, let me know.
But definitely, I'll have to see you again before next Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to look for my phone.
Okay.
I think I left it outside, but I don't know.
That's what you've been looking for this whole time? Yeah. I thought it was your lighter, and I was looking to see if I had it.
No, I was just like, oh, I don't feel it in my pocket.
Half an hour, it's probably still out there.
And I figured, it's on your porch, but I was like, all right, well, let's get it to a good point.
In Lakewood, it's still out here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Glen. Your phone's right there. Underneath that thing. You can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, Facebook Glen and Dean Show, at Glen and Dean Show on Twitter. Follow the show, listen to the show on Podbean, glenanddean.podbean.com.
Also,
we're not doing the website anymore. I'm just going to let that lapse. It's just glenanddean.podbean.com is where you're going to go to find everything for Glen and Dean Show. Yes, and what were you saying?
Let's say go to YouTube.
YouTube, because we have the stuff on YouTube.
We put episodes up there. We have sketches up there. We have my 30-minute special up there. And I think that with me moving to Orlando, that'll probably be a much bigger part of the show.
Yeah,
Dean and I are kicking around some ideas that we can do. Obviously, we'll be using Skype, so we might just do some actual visual things. Who knows? But I know I intend to do more comedy specials, and I know that we're not going to let that go to waste. So go up there and give us some likes so that I don't have to scroll past a stupid basketball player before I get to my own fucking YouTube channel, please.
Who's the...
His name is Glen Dean.
That's what I thought. I was like, wait, yeah, there was Glen Dean. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw his
2
basketball
ends,
card.
I think, on each.
Yeah, that's weird, though. That's weird.
Yeah.
2 ends on Dean?
Yeah.
Dean.
And Glen. So, fuck weird. That guy. But, go check us out.
Weird ending
Keep us going. And
we're done.